Hey there. So, would you love to shorten your learning curve and hit the fast track to success? With over 34 years of combined experience in network marketing, we have built teams that have exceeded over 10 million in sales volume, and we have learned a thing or two about how to build a business online. And while we'd love to tell you that it's been sunshine and daisies, well, the truth is we've made a lot of mistakes. Okay, but those mistakes have helped us turn us into the entrepreneurs that we are today. And we have found that failing forward is the fastest way to success. You could never analyze, plan, and perfect your activities to the point of avoiding mistakes, right? It's just not possible. But the good news is that you can tune in to the mistakes that others have made. And we've done that too. I mean, it's helped. And that will leverage what we've learned to shorten your own learning curve. Okay. So when you turn it into the mistakes that other people make, it helps to shorten that curve for you so you don't have to make all those same mistakes. And that's why in this episode today, we're really excited about we are going to share 10 team building mistakes that we've made, and we're going to show you how you can avoid making those mistakes yourself.
Hey there, I'm Jordan Maley, and I'm here today with my mom and business partner, Kathy Schneider. We are a mother-daughter team who help driven network marketers with the simple strategies to grow your business quickly online without confusion and overwhelm. And if you're watching this over on our new YouTube channel, definitely give us hit that subscribe button so that you will be the first to know about new episodes and resources as they come out in real time. And if you're watching this live, do us a favor and drop us a comment, say hello, let us know where you're tuning in from. We are coming to you live today from Lubbock, Texas, where, believe it or not, it was snowing when we woke up this morning. And yes, yesterday it was 70 degrees. So we gotta love that Texas weather, and we'd love to know where you are tuning in from today. So we provide free recaps and downloadable resources for every single episode we put out for you over on our blog. If you check out the description somewhere around this video or the link that's scrolling across the bottom of your screen, then you can go to that link and grab that recap and the downloadable resource that we created for you this week. We are very, very excited to talk to you today about some mistakes that we have made in our own business. So let's jump in and get started.
Yeah, I love this quote by John F. Kennedy. Those who dare to fail miserably achieve greatly. And you know what? That is doesn't that feel good? It just tells you that failure really isn't failure. It's like the road to achievement. Okay. So, and I really believe these words. I mean, this isn't like just a quote we just threw out there. When I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's spot on. And I've actually never read this quote before. This was one I actually went searching, trying to find. I thought, oh, this is so true. And anyway, I love this quote. Very simple, but very powerful as well.
Absolutely. And hey there, Delroy from London, United Kingdom. Great to see you here. Hey, Angel from Maine. Bet it's a little chilly where both of you are from. So as you're coming on today, say hello. We're going to be talking about our top 10 team building mistakes that we have made while building our business online, and show you how you can avoid making those same mistakes in your own business. And if you want to download the free resource that we put together for you today, our analysis paralysis buster, if you are a perfectionist, if you feel that sometimes you get stuck on how to push past that perfectionism and really get into messy action in your business, then this resource is for you. Inside this resource, we give you a deeper look into each of these 10 big mistakes that we have made in our business. And we show you step by step how to avoid those mistakes using a little worksheet that you can fill out so that you can make sure you are not following in our footsteps in a negative way, right? So we would love for you to learn from our mistakes without having to make them yourself. And this worksheet will help you do that. So definitely head over to globalfreedomcommunity.com/67 and download that worksheet. Hey there, Isabel and Susan. Great to see you ladies here as well. So mistakes, they're just part of the process, aren't they, Mom?
They are, mistakes really are just part of the process. And, one of the quotes that I love, and this is one I have quoted this one a lot, and this is by Michael Jordan. And, he says, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to make the game-winning shot and missed. Oh, and I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that's why I succeed. So isn't that cool? I mean, isn't that so true? And we don't, you know what, when we think of Michael Jordan, we don't think about the games lost. We don't think about the times he missed the winning shot, right? We think of him as
watched The Last Dance during, like, oh my gosh, it was like a quarantine gift this summer to have The Last Dance come out on Netflix. Such a good inside look at Michael Jordan's story and all the successes and the failures that he had.
So. That's a good one to go watch for sure. Absolutely. So if you talk to anyone that is at the top of their game, and it doesn't matter. I mean, it can be in sports, it can be in business, it can be in basket weaving, it can be in parenting, it can be in anything, right? It can be in anything. And people are going to tell you they've made a lot of mistakes to get where they are today. I mean, mistakes are just part of it. We're human, right? I mean, it's just part of being human. But I think so many times when it comes to our business, and I know personally I've done this and I still catch myself doing it and have to stop and go, nope, stop it. But I watch it happen so many times with entrepreneurs. They do fall into that analysis paralysis because it's like, you know what? As long as I'm analyzing and I'm like thinking and planning and trying to get things just perfect, I can't fail because I can't make any mistakes because I'm not going to actually get into action yet. I'm just getting ready. I'm getting ready to get ready. And when we do that, that's when we say, no, you're trying to be a perfectionist or you're in analysis paralysis. Okay. But here's what we know. Analysis paralysis, it doesn't get you ready. It keeps you paralyzed, okay? Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. And the fastest way to succeed in anything is to jump off of a cliff, paint the plane on the way down, maybe not. Not if you're actually jumping off of a cliff. But when it comes to so many things, I mean, maybe it's posting on, social media. Maybe it's inviting someone to take a look. Maybe it's, deciding what the steps are that you're going to take prospects through. I mean, there's so many things that people are like, they just overthink it, right? We're going to go into 10 things mistakes we've made and really dig into these and make sure that you don't make these, as well.
Absolutely. So the first big mistake that we made in our business is we didn't treat it like a business, right? And I think almost everyone goes through this in the beginning stages, right? And there's a difference. And I want you to know too, a lot of these mistakes we're going to be talking about today, these are mistakes that apply if you are wanting to create a full-time income, a 6 or 7 figure business with your network marketing company. Okay. That's what there's a lot of people on your team that they just want to make anywhere between $0 and $500 a month. Okay. They can treat their business like a hobby. That's hobby money, right? That's okay. But if you're wanting to create a full-time income, one of the biggest mistakes that we've made in the beginning was not treating our business like a business. We treated it like a hobby. We didn't set business hours. We let life and distractions and our busy day derail us and keep us from taking the consistent action that's required if you really want to create results in your business. And this was the biggest mistake we made. I know it took me 3 years to earn my first comma check in my business. And it wasn't my business's fault. It was my fault. And it was because I didn't take it seriously. I worked when I felt like it. I didn't work when I didn't feel like it. And it wasn't until I really got consistent that income started to come. And sure enough, I got super consistent. Within a year, I hit my first comma check. I hit a leadership rank in the company. And a year after that, I went full time. That happened pretty quickly once I started taking my business seriously. So not treating your business like a business is a huge mistake. And if you want some tips on how to avoid making that mistake and how we course corrected and fixed that. Definitely download our paralysis analysis buster. The link is scrolling across the bottom of your screen right now. And you want to download that, and it will walk you through some of the tips that we followed to start treating our business more like a business.
Well, and I remember, we'll go back to that just for a minute. I want to say, when I first got started in network marketing, I was actually in direct sales, and it was a party plan business. Well, when I booked a party, guess what? I had to show up. Okay. So like when Jordan was saying setting hours, and then I found when I got out of the party plan business, I quit setting hours because I didn't have a true commitment. Like there wasn't an appointment with someone where I had to show up at their house at a certain time to do a presentation, a demonstration of the products, right? Yep. And so I think so many times, when it's party plan, which there are people I know still doing party plans, which is awesome. Maybe it's an online party, but you show up for that. But if your business is not a party plan business, then you've got to treat it like a business if you want it to pay you like a business. And so you've got to set hours and realize that you've got to make that appointment with yourself to show up, because the people are out there. It's just not a set appointment.
Well, and it's human nature. Like I never miss my riding lesson with my horse trainer because it's on my calendar. She's expecting me to show up. If I don't show up, I'm going to get a phone call saying, "What happened? Where are you?" But on the days that I'm just supposed to go ride my horse, there's a lot of days that I say, "Oh, the weather's kind of crappy," or "I just don't really feel like it today." And I have to say, no, if I want to hit my goals, I need to go even when I don't feel like it, right? And so having that self-discipline to set an appointment with yourself is so, so important. And good morning, Kiana and Brianna and Ceylin and Debbie. Great to see everybody here. So as you're coming on, continue to say hi, and we love you guys chatting with us. That's awesome. All right, mistake number 2. Allow our reasons to become our excuses. I'll let Mom talk about this one because we've made this mistake, but I know it's also one of Mom's little pet peeves. So
it is a pet peeve, and I know we're not all moms, right? We're not all dads. Everyone doesn't have children, but whatever your reason is for getting started in your business, and obviously, I'm going to use the experiences that I've had, and I work with a lot of moms, especially in the beginning of my business, because I had small children. So the people I knew, the people I connected with also had small children. And I watched it happen again and again and again. People would say, I want to put, I'm already working full time, but I want to do this business because I want to be at home with my kids. I don't want to continue to, put them in daycare, or I don't want them to have to go to after school care. Those were the 2 things that I heard again and again. Either didn't want to be in daycare or didn't want them to have to go to after school care. I want to be home with them in the summer. I want to be home with them during the holidays and the breaks and be there for the school parties and field trips back when, those things were going on. And those things will return, I'm sure. So it was like, okay, you know what? Those were their reasons why. That's why they were getting into business. But then guess what? Those became their children. And the children's activities and schedule, and one thing after another. They thought that these were reasons why they couldn't, but they became their excuses why they weren't working their business. And it's hard to connect with people on that, because you feel like you're trying to tell them how to parent. You're trying to tell them, what their priorities are. So you've got to really tread lightly there. But the way you do that is you kind of circle around, you bring them back, you get them, really thinking about why they started their business in the first place. And as long as they bring it up, then they're open to it. If you try to point it out, sometimes it's taken, out of perspective, right? And they think that you're, trying to tell them how to raise their kids or whatever. So, but for me, this was always remembered that my children were my reasons why. And I was not, no matter what, was not going to let them be my excuse. Now, I've had other reasons that have become excuses. So I'm not saying that, I was perfect here 100%. But I never, ever, ever used my children as a reason why I could not work my business. I was very adamant about trying to create a schedule, create an environment in our home so that I could get my work done. And I had to be very intentional about when I worked my business, so that when my kids woke up from their nap, or when they came home from school, or so I could cut back during the summer. And I remember I used to make my schedule, And I had a holiday schedule, I had a summer schedule, and I had a school time schedule. You know, you had these different schedules for when I would work based on what the kids' schedules were. But guess what? I still made sure that time to work my business was always on that schedule. It's just the times when it changed, it adjusted.
Absolutely. So whatever your reasons are, don't let them become your excuses for not working your business.
Exactly.
The third biggest mistake we made was taking rejection personally. All right. When someone ignores you or tells you no, it can be so easy to fall into that trap of believing that they are rejecting you, when in reality, they're just not open to the opportunity you're sharing right now. Okay. So the big mistake we made was when people would tell us no, we would take that so personally that it would keep us from prospecting. We didn't want to go invite somebody else because what if they rejected us too? And so we saw that rejection as something personal, that they were rejecting us and that we were doing something wrong by inviting them to take a look, that we had made a mistake. When in reality, we had simply made an invitation and they said no because it wasn't the right fit. You know, we just did this week. We had friends invite us over for a New Year's Eve party. And we said no because we already had plans to go to another New Year's Eve party with a dinner party with my best friend and her husband. So we said no to one because we already had an obligation. Were we saying no to our friends? Were we rejecting them? No. We just said, hey, we can't come. Let's do something later, right? The timing will be better later. And so when you realize that when people tell you no, they're not rejecting you. They simply are saying no to something that's not a good fit for them right now. Then you can move forward with confidence, knowing that all you have to do is keep looking for the people who are open right now.
Oh, number 4, and this one I think this one's hard. This one's really hard. Like I say, they're all hard, especially when you're in the midst of it, right? But this one is really tough or it was for me anyway. And it was a mistake that we made over and over again. And it was allowing ourselves to make decisions based on what other people think. Okay. And this is not just the big stuff. This is even little things like maybe choosing what to post on social media, or even when it came to inviting people to take a look. But then even bigger things like choosing to walk away from maybe a full-time job to pursue a business full-time, like to leave the job and go to the business full-time. And I know I've heard, many people talk about this. I know Ray Higdon's talked about it. I know John Melton's talked about it, where people thought they were crazy because they left a full-time income, something that looked like a promising career. I mean, it already was a great career and was just going to get bigger and better. And they walked away to start their business. But you know what? You've got, people are going to always have different opinions, right? They're not always going to agree, and they're not always even going to know all of the inside of why you're thinking what you're thinking. But the greatest lesson here is realizing, guess what? Those people, they don't pay your bills. Don't let them control your choices. You get to decide. It's kind of like you don't let someone tell you who to marry, right? You don't let someone say, oh, no, that's, you don't need to marry that person. Wrong fit. No, it's none of their business, right? Because they don't know. We're all different, which is really what keeps life interesting. And we all have different things that we want when it comes to how we want to earn a living and the lifestyle we want, what we want to do with our day. And when I say lifestyle, I'm not talking about fancy cars and big houses. I just mean like what your day looks like, how you want to live that day and how you want to raise your family and just everything about it. We're all different. And that's okay. That's what makes it so good. So don't allow other people's opinions to dictate your actions. That's number 4.
Absolutely. And hey there, Nancy. Great to see you here. All right. So number 5, not treating prospecting like a numbers game. And this really goes both directions, right? If you've ever allowed yourself to get really caught up in somebody that said no or somebody that said yes, and you get all wrapped up in that one response, whether they said no or yes, you get so excited because they said yes, or you get so devastated because they said no. You've got to understand it's a numbers game. Some people are going to say yes. Some people are going to say no. It doesn't matter. If they say yes, you lead them one direction. If they say no, you go a different direction. Your job is to work the numbers. And if you will work the numbers will work for you every single time. Every single time. Prospecting is a numbers game. I love the story Jim Rohn shared about saying, I just need you to be one of my people. right? I need you to be like, I need 100 people in a room and I need you to be one of them, because the numbers show if I have 100 people in a room, I'm going to get 10 who will join me. And I don't care if you're one of the 90 who doesn't, that doesn't matter. I just need you to be one of the 100, because if there's 100, 10 will join me, right? And your business is a numbers game. And if you will work the numbers will work for you. And we used to get so caught up, and you spend all this time focusing on one prospect and you've got your fingers crossed and you hope they'll say yes, when in reality you need to give them the information they need, and then you need to get busy and go talk to some more people, because that person may or may not say yes or no. Even if they say yes, they might not do anything. There's so many things that can happen. So you want to make sure that you are always working your numbers so that your numbers will work for you.
Well, and another thing about this numbers thing, here's something I want you to really think about. There are many, 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 many people that are going to join or start a home business today. There's a lot that are going to start tomorrow and the next day. And so that numbers game can also work in the sense in that, are they going to join you? Are they going to join with somebody else?
Yep.
So if you're not out there inviting them, someone else is going to, and you just need to make sure that you get your fair share. You don't need all of them, right? You couldn't even work with everybody, but you want to make sure that and I think remembering that what we have, as corny as it sounds, every time I hear this, it kind of makes me just go, so stupid. But what we have is a gift. And when we're not sharing it and letting people know about it, we're being selfish. And, and we're just hiding behind our fear. But if you can remember, instead of that you're hiding behind your fear, remember that you're being selfish. Like, you're not sharing this fabulous opportunity. Obviously, you wouldn't have gotten into it if you didn't think your business, your company was fabulous, right? You didn't join because you thought it was the worst company in the world, very junky and icky and all that, right? So I want to make sure that you know that you've got to get, it works both directions, okay? And hello there. I will totally botch your name. I don't know. Maybe Jordan can pronounce that one.
I can't pronounce your name either. You're going to have to tell us how to pronounce it. But hello, we're glad you're here. And
we can call you.
How to pronounce your name. Absolutely, we would love to know. So
I will call it. We'll say hello, UI.
All right, mistake number 6: falling into management mode. Okay, it's so easy. And we watch this happen a lot, and we've done this many times at many different points in our career. When your team starts to grow, you get so focused on helping your team that you get out of personal activity, right? You get out of personal activity. You start working with your team members, you're answering their questions, you're doing training. And that's why it's so important to systemize your training so that you can stay in personal activity. Okay, your team is going to do what you do, not what you say. You've got to be leading from the front. You've got to stay out of management mode and into personal activity. Like I said, we've done this multiple times at different junctures throughout our career. We see it happen most often when somebody gets a couple of people on their team and they're like, I'm working with my team. I'm getting them working. I'm getting them going. I've got some runners. I'm going. Cool. Work with them like an hour a week tops and go work your business, right? Go look for some more people. Remember, it's a numbers game. And so we see it happen there. But then also, like, as you start to hit those middle management, those middle leadership ranks, it tends to happen there as well. So make sure that you always prioritize your own activity. And remember, we put together our analysis paralysis buster. I think I wrote that backwards on the thing. That's okay, doesn't matter. We put that together for you guys. And in there, we go through each of these 10 mistakes in more detail and really break down how to overcome them, okay? So make sure if you feel that you're falling into management mode, go through that little segment of the worksheet, and that'll help you a lot.
Yeah. So number 7, not prioritizing your personal development. This one really aggravates me. It frustrates me when people stop doing the personal development. I can almost always predict just by watching a person's activity and attitude. Okay. The things that they say, they start complaining more. They're, a little more they're like, oh, I just don't know if this is going to work. And, they start losing their faith. They start losing their commitment. They
But
stop
we've done this
showing up.
before. So if this is you, don't feel bad on yourself because
Oh,
you did this in the beginning. We did not prioritize.
these are all mistakes that we've made, every single one of them.
Yeah.
But this one is one that's so it's so easy. Some of these can be tough to overcome. Okay. Some of these can be hard to work through. You just, it takes a lot to work through. This one is not hard. It's like pick up a book and read it. It's not, this is not a mindset thing, is what I'm saying. This one is not a skill that you have to learn or a habit. It's more like a habit that you have to break. You have to get in the habit of reading a little bit every day. And I always was told 10 pages of a good book every day. Anybody can find the time to read 10 pages of a good book. Get up a few minutes early, stay up a little bit later, whatever, if you're more of a morning person or a night person. Or better yet, if you, go to the gym or walk on the treadmill or walk around your neighborhood, or you drive, commute back and forth to a job, or maybe back and forth to taking the kids to school, then listen in your automobile. Listen while you're walking or, at the gym. There's so many ways you can do this. I know Jordan will listen to a lot of her books while she's picking up the house, and, loading the dishwasher, unload the dishwasher, taking out a load of laundry and folding it. So it doesn't matter. Like, you can find the time to do this. And it is so important that you always, always, always be listening to personal development. And here's the cool thing. It can't even be a money excuse, because there's so many opportunities out there to listen to personal development that are free. Mm-hmm. Or you can do one of the things that I did this past year. I didn't read a ton of books this past year. That was not my goal. I wasn't trying to read a crazy number of books. I wasn't even trying to read a book a month. I had one book that I read over and over and over. And it was actually when I started the year before. So I've listened to the same book for over a year. I just kept it going in my car all the time. And I do read different ones at home, but I listen to the same thing, all the good. Yes, Brianna. Yes, Audible is my favorite too. I love it. So yeah, you've just got to be doing that.
Absolutely. So number 8, okay, believing that we had to stay with the same company forever. And I don't want to get too much into this one because some people are very fortunate to find their forever home right away. All right. But what we see happen a lot, and what happened for us, is you get into the industry and you figure out over time that this isn't the company you would have chosen if you knew more about it when you got started. Right? Like you don't know what you don't know. And we get into this business usually because a friend or a family member recommended it to us. And then we feel like we have to stay there. And I know for us, we stayed at one company far longer than we should have. The writing was on the wall. We knew, if we had been honest with ourselves, that their leadership, the business systems, the compensation plan, it didn't fit our long-term goals. We weren't going to be able to do what we wanted to do as easily there as we could somewhere else. And we stayed because we didn't want to know what other people would think, right? We were afraid of what other people would think if we left. And, I think about it all the time. You see people all the time, real estate agents, they change real estate companies, insurance agents. My best friend, her husband just switched insurance companies. He's still an insurance agent, but now he works with a different company. Nobody thought anything about it. He said, yeah, I can make more money over here. And everybody said, cool, congratulations. We're so glad that happened for you, right? So just like people change jobs, you can change companies if you find that the leadership, the business model, the support, the systems, whatever, are not the best fit for your long-term goals. And when we made that change, for us, it was the best decision we could have made. I wish we'd have made it sooner because we stayed longer than we should have because we felt like that was what we had to do. Yeah,
that's so true. And I think sometimes that's harder too, the longer you've been someplace. If you're someplace for a short time and it becomes real obvious that this just isn't the right fit, that's easy. It's like, well, I just made a bad choice. But when you've been somewhere a long time, it's really hard sometimes to just say, okay, you know what, as hard as this is, I'm going to have to make a change. So yeah. Number 9, listening to too many people at one time. Oh my gosh, with social media, there is no shortage of experts out there, right? There's always another webinar, another challenge, another boot camp, another, I mean, there's just, people are writing books and, there's just new stuff coming out, podcasts. There's so many different things to listen to in so many areas. And I mean, not just us that are in network marketing, you get into anything now with the internet, and with social media, there is just so much out there, so much out there. And that literally, when you're just plugging into everything that's out there, and I've been hearing this from people more and more lately than what I used to. People are becoming aware of it and realizing that you just can't do it all, right? You can't do it all. You've got to so what we found was that if you'll follow and learn from just, pick a few, find the people that really speak to you, okay, that are teaching the type of stuff you want to learn and the style that you like to learn from, okay, and those are the ones you need to plug into. And also, I find that sometimes some people, they plug in and follow too many leaders within their own company, and you don't need to be following all of them. Just pick a few, very few, and you don't even have to follow. You can follow them, but you actually go and check out their stuff when you want to go check it out. But you don't want to be scrolling social media and all you see are posts from people that are already in your company, okay? Be that your downline or your upline or cross the line. It just needs to be, you're out there to build relationships, and you don't need to build those with people that are already in, except with just a few that you're wanting, as far as when it comes to like learning from them, okay? And then you pick a few that are people that you really, really admire. And for me, I know a lot of times there's a lot of people out there that I really admire and think a lot of, but I usually have a particular skill or area of my business that I'm working on to improve. So I find someone that's their strength. That's what they teach. That's what they're known for. And I will plug into that person until I feel like that I've learned that. And this is what I've learned over time, that because there was a time when I felt like I had to be on, every single call, every webinar, wanted to participate in all the challenge, everything was out there. I was going to do it all because I was going to get really, really good at being a network marketer, and found that actually that's all I was doing. I was constantly just working at getting better by listening and watching and plugging in, but I really wasn't getting into activity. So if you listen to too many people at one time, it takes up all your time. There's no time to actually get into action. So very important.
All right. And the last one, not investing in our business sooner and more often. All right. So it's so easy to say, when I'm making more money or when I have more time, I'll invest in this, I'll do that. We made this mistake and it cost us so big, right? And maybe it's something like going to a company event. You're not going to invest in that event because you don't have the time, you don't have the money. Well, when I hit this rank, when I make this money, then I'll go. And you got to think about, like, how would that work for a college student? If they said, well, once I make money from my job, then I'll go to college. No, that's so backwards. Or somebody that says, well, once I'm making money with my business, then I'll partner with a franchise, right? There's a reason that franchises work, right? They're systemized. They're people come in and they teach you how to set up and run this business using their system that's proven to succeed. So when you invest in yourself, in your business, that's essential. If you're wanting to earn a full-time income, you've got to make some investments. And sometimes that's investing, maybe you've got an incredible upline, incredible company leadership. Maybe your big investment is going to your next company event. Maybe your big investment is investing in a personal development course to help you with mindset. I know for us, we didn't have the leadership as far as how to actually go about building a duplicatable system for our team. And so we invested in someone who was going to help us do that. And within 2 years, our team was doing over $1 million in sales volume. That was a good investment for us. It was terrifying. It was scary. But it was 1000% worth it because it set us up for years, over a decade of success that came after it from that one decision. So our business didn't really start to grow until we invested in it. And that's why it's really, really key, if you're wanting to create a full-time income with your business, find those people you want to follow and make sure you're investing your time and money into learning the skills that it takes to get where you want to go.
Yeah. And this is where, we just want to kind of bring it all together and just point out again that, mistakes are just part of business. They're part of life. I mean, the thing is, when you become an entrepreneur, mistakes are part of the deal. Okay. The only way to avoid mistakes is if you don't take any action. And of course, that would be the biggest mistake of all, right? Would you agree with that? So, I hope that you've noticed none of the mistakes that we shared here were about what we said to a particular prospect, which video we chose to send one to, or, picking the title for our Facebook Live, or, the topic. I mean, it wasn't any of those things, right? And yeah, I mean, we've done those things many times, and you will too. You're going to say the wrong thing. You're going to pick the wrong video and it's going to flop. You're going to, put together a presentation and no one's going to enroll after they watch it. I mean, all those things are going to happen, right? These aren't mistakes. They're simply action steps that you just haven't mastered yet. And so you keep tweaking and trying and perfecting and trying different things. But these other things, like, you've got to make sure, and most of these they're mindset things, but they're so important, okay? And we just want you to remember that the only thing that can stand in the way of your success is you and your willingness to get into the messy action, okay? Stay committed, be courageous, grow along the way. And if you're willing to do that, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you.
Absolutely. So true. I'll never forget the first prospecting call I ever made to a prospect. This was back when we used to call our prospects. I was so nervous. I called the lady by the wrong name. Her name was Vanessa. And I said, "Hi, Jordan, this is Vanessa." That's how nervous I was. And, I could look at that as a big mistake I made in my business, but it wasn't. It was just something that happened, as a blip on the radar. And if it hadn't been my first prospecting call, I probably never would have remembered it, because I've made plenty of mistakes when calling people or sending messages or whatever. Those aren't mistakes, right? They're just things you're working on mastering. The 10 things we shared today are mistakes that really did hurt our business and set us back. And I hope that by learning from our mistakes, you can avoid making them yourself. And if you really want to dig into how to avoid making these mistakes in your own life and business, grab our analysis paralysis buster over at globalfreedomcommunity.com/67. Because over there, you're going to be able to work through each of these 10 mistakes. And we really break down what we specifically did to avoid them and how you can avoid them as well. So head over there and download that. And that's all we got for you today. Question of the day, or question of the week, Mom.
Yeah. So what mistake are you holding on to that you just need to release and let go of? Okay. You just know it needs to be released and let go of. What mistake? And maybe it's one of the 10 we listed. Maybe it's another one. There's tons of things out there that can go wrong, but we want you just to drop in the comments if you want, or if nothing else, think about it in your mind. What mistake are you holding on to? And you just need to release it and let it go.
Absolutely.
And move forward.
Yes. All right, you guys. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. This was our very last live video of 2020. I can't believe it. And we will be back with you next year, which happens to be just a few days away. So we'll be back next Wednesday with another episode of Coffee with K&J. And we hope you have a very safe and very happy new year. And we will talk to you very, very soon. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.